Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Night Tech Talk with B Tech Reviews here, and welcome to the live stream. It is Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. So, this is actually going to be probably maybe my only live stream this week, but I wanted to share with you guys something with the community here. Of course, hold on, let me see what's going on with my background here. I was gonna say I don't have any background set or anything like that. I guess I'm just gonna leave it the way it is now. But anyways, hopefully everyone's doing good today. I hope you guys are having a good week. I wanted to share some information on another free phone that Metro by T-Mobile is throwing out there. So just so that you guys know, right? Currently, the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G is free. It is free of charge right now. So I'm actually gonna pull up the info for you guys right now, but I'm waiting to see if maybe there's anybody in the chat that wants to chat. Looks like we got somebody in the house. It says Tristan Miller from the US, from the looks of it. It says, what's up? How's it going, Tristan? Thanks again for joining in on the chat here. Definitely want to give people shout outs that are actually here during the live stream. So again, if let me know how you are. I think you're relatively new to my channel, or at least I think you are, because I don't recall seeing you in my chat before. Let me get this going. I'm trying to make sure the chat looks okay. Everything looks good on my end, though. From the looks of it, I'm currently also watching on the actual device that we are going to be talking about here. So yes, Metro by T-Mobile this month has got a lot of steals. So let's go ahead and share that with you guys today already. All right. Thanks again for joining in, Mr. Trestone. So currently, again, you can get the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G free online. It says get it today with instant rebate, add a voice line to your existing Metro plan, or get a new number. So you have several options there. Currently, they also are still promoting the Moto G5 Power 5G, as well with a few others. And we'll get into that, right? It says get your first month free with them as low as $20 a month. At home internet to your Metro line account. Get your first month free with instant rebate. Qualify for the ACP. I think the ACP is actually going away, so just a heads up for people that are maybe interested in that. It is going away pretty soon. Well, within the next couple of years. But as far as people being able to submit and qualify for it, that's going to be something else. So yeah, let's go to the lineup here and see what's going on here. Again, if you guys are just joining in, smash that like button, please. And if you can, share, or if you have social media platform like X or, whatever, Facebook, and you guys like the content, please share with your family and friends. It really does help out the channel. And I am getting a set of new subscribers daily, right? So thanks again for joining in for the people that do subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's check this out here for you guys. So SIM card is $10, right? So let's scroll down a little bit. It's not, even though it's the promotion that's at the top of the page, right? It's actually not the first phone on the page. So you still have your Moto G Stylus 5G and your Moto G Power. And of course, right below that is your Galaxy A15 5G. And then next to it, you have your A14 5G. So just clicking it here, let me know how I sound. Let me know how the audio looks, or how the actual picture looks, because it's actually starting to lag on my end a little bit. But ooh, you know what? I might have to actually reboot the page. It's giving me issues already. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me refresh here really quick. Sometimes this page works fine, and sometimes it doesn't. I might have to actually share the information from another browser. Yep, I'm gonna have to use another browser here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, Chrome usually messes up with this browser. I'm gonna go ahead and just exit out there. I do apologize. Thanks again for being understanding on the technical difficulties here. Here we go. Let's go ahead and share this window over here. So again, we are sharing the page here. Let me just make sure I can see this correctly. Okay, it looks like I'm sharing this correctly. So yeah, let me just exit out the other browser on my other tab there. Well, you know, that's fine. We'll keep it there. So again, let's go to phone and devices. So under cell phone, again, you know, they are offering several free items here, guys. So just keep that in mind, right? If you're interested in testing out Metro by T-Mobile as a service, right? You know, they are actually offering several devices for free. And the cool part about it is you don't have to keep that device if you have an unlocked device like an iPhone or, you know, like let's say a Google Pixel, you know, but you just want to test out the service possibly, or maybe try to port out your number a little bit later. You can do this. So let's go ahead and click this really quick. So again, this is the Samsung A15 5G. Now from what I'm seeing, there is actually different variants of this device, because I've seen other variants have 8 gigs of RAM. Metro by T-Mobile's version only has 4 gigs of RAM. So just keep that in mind, or take that with a grain of salt, that, you know, this one is probably going to be the lower end of the A15 spectrum, which confuses me a little bit, because I'm just kind of thinking to myself, why do they do that with, especially since this is a budget phone, right? One that you can get under $300. I believe at the making of this video on the website, this phone is actually $239, and we can get into that, right? Yeah, $239 with the new discount plan. Or you can bring your own number. So it's giving you the option to bring your own number, porting it in, and you're still paying $0 down today. So pretty interesting. Again, this phone has a triple camera setup, right? 50 megapixel camera, and it has a 13 megapixel front facing camera. So this is the interesting about this phone is the interesting that to me about this phone is that this phone has a Super AMOLED display. Okay, so Super AMOLED display is not really common on budget phones, at least in my experience, it has not been. So for this device to be under 250 and you're still getting a very nice display, it to me it just, you know, makes the deal more enticing, right? Again, it's a 6.5-inch Infinity U display according to this, but again, it's Super AMOLED, so FHD plus. So it looks good. Like I'm actually watching, like, you know, the stream on the phone currently, and I can't complain. Let's see. Aside from that, you know, it has a 5,000 milliamp battery, which, you know, I feel like a lot of these budget phones go with the 5,000 milliamp battery. Like, I don't know if they're all doing it, but for whatever reason, this one does. Of course, you get all the perks of having a Samsung device, including all the Samsung apps and the Samsung, you know, I guess ecosystem. I don't really use the Samsung ecosystem. I'm more of the Google or Apple ecosystem person. I've really never used the Samsung ecosystem as far as like their apps or you know, anything else like their wearables, etc. like that. So just keep that in mind. So again, this version does only have 4 gigs of RAM, which could be a deal breaker for some people because it's 2024, and I feel like the minimum amount of RAM that a lot of us need is probably at least 6 gigs, especially with the way and it also depends on the processing power, right? But I feel like I just having the phone for a couple days now, I can tell you right now that this phone most likely needed another 2 gigs of RAM, because it does tend to stutter. Of course, you know, this is with the latest software updates on it, but you know, the cool thing about this device also is beside the Super AMOLED display, it does come with a NFC, right? So you guys are able to take this device and basically have mobile payment. So you can take this to McDonald's and you know, add your Google Wallet or Samsung Wallet, whatever you want to call it, Samsung Pay. I don't even know if they still do that anymore. And then, you know, you're able to actually pay with your phone rather than, you know, do that. Let's see. Aside from that, you know, it is a 5G phone, right? Here, your bands are going to be sitting there, right? You know, it does have, you know, N25, N41, N66, N70, 71, N77, etc. And, you know, all the way down to your LTE, right? Which, you know, of course, if you're in, you know, specific areas that don't get 5G, then you'll still get 4G LTE, which is Metro by T-Mobile. In my experience, where I live, I have no problems. So there's that. You know, it's not a lot of super like high. It's not a high-end phone, obviously. USB Type-C. You do get like a little bit of a notch on the bottom, right? Triple camera setup. Pretty plain phone. I would say it's a little bit on the thicker side. I would say the Samsung Galaxy A54 to me was a little bit of a more sleeker phone. It does have a little bit of a chin there, like on the actual front facing. And again, I will hopefully get more on this when it comes to the video here. But yeah, I just really wanted to share that with you guys. Let's go over the other free phones currently still on Metro by T-Mobile, right? So again, you still have the Moto G Stylus 5G 2023, which again, zero down, or excuse me, now. So now they're actually charging $20 with a new line. So when I got this deal, it was actually free. So I didn't have to pay anything with the new line, or at least to my knowledge, I don't recall paying anything. But you know, the Moto G Stylus 5G 2023 is actually a pretty solid device. About the same screen size, has a 6.6-inch display. The only difference is here, obviously, it's a Motorola phone. It's a stylus phone, so it's kind of like a niche type phone, but also there is no, you know, you don't get a super high res display like you would with the Super AMOLED that you would see in Samsung. And for the most part, you know, you're getting an IPS display, which doesn't look bad. But again, you know, this phone does perform better in a lot of ways, especially because it does have a much better processing chip. So this phone, of course, comes with a Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 processor, which again, I can't complain too hard. 6 gigs of RAM, and it does have expandable memory up to 2 terabytes. So again, no wireless charging, but again, this device does get the job done, in my opinion. Sorry about that. I had to turn my head away from my dog. But again, when it comes to a phone like this, 5,000 milliamp battery, the standby time on this phone is actually extremely good. I can't complain too hard. Like literally, I can leave this on for the whole week with minimal use, and you know it's going to still perform well. Now, again, considering it doesn't have a Super AMOLED display, you know it does still have, you know, a pretty decent display considering it has an IPS display, and most of these IPS panels have gotten a lot better over the years. Like they're not as wishy-washy as you would think them to be, right? A good example of this would be like the TCL phones, right? Which TCL has like some sort of software integrated in their, you know, stuff that makes the screen look better, even though they're not AMOLED. It's not an AMOLED display on those devices. You know, they still look good. If you want like a very nice looking screen, you would want to go with their Pro phones though. Let's take a look here, guys, and let me know if you guys are still watching. Hey, what's up, Morganta? How's it going? Thanks again for joining in. And if you guys are joining in, smash that like button. I don't know if you're still there or not. I'm just kind of jibber jabbing right now. You can still get, so even though the Moto Stylus 5G says zero down with promotion, they're charging $19.99 now. Let's see what the Moto G Power. So the Moto G Power actually is zero down with the promotion here. So you can do that with bring your number or a new number. So this one I probably wouldn't get just because, but again, because it's got that 4 gigs of RAM. And again, it does have a MediaTek processor as well, just like the Samsung one. So again, you're going to get, these are more lower end type specs. The phone is $249 or less. So I would, for the most part, I would consider phones under $250 now more on the budget range rather than the mid range or the lower tier phones. But you know, that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean that they're bad phones though, right? That doesn't mean that these phones can't perform in a way where you wouldn't be able to use them or not usable. Here's a device that I will praise until they stop selling it, basically, which is the Samsung Galaxy A54, right? So if you bring your number, they are porting it in for $49.99. But if you get a new number, it's $149.99, which I think this phone is definitely worth the $149, even though I think retail wise, unlocked, I think it probably goes for around $300, maybe $300 to $400. This one is definitely this. Even Marquez, aka MKBHD, gave this phone pretty high praise last year when it came to this device. Considering it doesn't have a Snapdragon chip anymore, you know, it's a 6.4-inch display, Super AMOLED FHD Plus Infinity QO display. Very pretty, very good looking display. You know, this device, of course, has 25-watt fast charging. Really, the only thing that I kind of thought really was missing was wireless charging on this device, right? But you know, again, it's a 5G device, adaptive power saving. It's got that great triple camera setup, right? And it's got a 32 megapixel front facing camera, so you know you can't complain there. You're gonna get good front facing pics and video. What else? You know, again, it is IP rated, so you can, it is a little bit somewhat waterproof, and again, expandable memory, right? The only thing that really kind of threw me off was the chipset on this, which was a Exynos chip, right? I think they kind of made a mistake using their own, but I think maybe Samsung is starting to maybe want to steer away from the Snapdragon chips, at least when it comes to their mid and low range phones. Um, that's just my opinion, though. I don't know. You guys can quote me on that or whatever, but I feel like that they're really only staying on the Snapdragon chips when it comes to their flagship devices. So like the S23, the S24, the S24 Plus, the S24 Ultra. Those are going to still stick with Snapdragon because, again, the processing power for some of these Exynos chips aren't good. They aren't horrible either, though. I'll tell you that much. Like, after a few updates and whatnot, the device seemed to work very well. Little bit of stuttering and lag here and there, but not to the point where like I was bothered by it, right? Again, nice display. It was a very good feeling in the phone hand. Or in the hand phone, whatever. And again, battery life on this was pretty great. I think it's a 5,000 milliamp. If not, it's a 4,500 milliamp battery. Let's go down here. Yeah, 5,000 milliamp battery. So definitely, I think on the international spectrum, if you can get like the international version of it, I think the international version is 8 gigs of RAM. So just keep that in mind, guys. Let's go back here. So let's see. You can also get the Samsung A14 for $0 down, although I think this is last year's version or last year's little budget device, which, again, looks like the S23, but, definitely not something I would get. Again, this has a very low rating as far as the actual like user rating here. So it's not something I would get. It's got a MediaTek processor as well, but it's, not something that I feel like a lot of people would look at. Again, people that are looking at these budget devices, they have to consider like, hey, like what can I afford, etc., like that. What do I need, and how well is the device going to work, right? So the S23 FE, which I'm waiting to see if I can get this phone online, but the online version of this is just never on sale. Look, add to cart. Nothing. If you bring your own number, it says to bring your number or experts can assist you at your nearest Metro by T-Mobile. So the sad part is I was actually at a Metro by T-Mobile today, and I did not take advantage, unfortunately. I did not take advantage. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and say sup over here. That's me. Oh, look, I'm a moderator. Nice. Let's see. We still got Borganta in the chat. Hopefully, if not, well, then hopefully you guys are doing okay. Again, guys, this is going to be a long video. I'm just kind of sharing what they have to offer as far as Metro by T-Mobile devices. Again, the Motorola Razr 99 with promotion. So this is if you port in your number, you're going to get this device for $99. But if you get it with a new line, which is something I did, I paid $199. New line discount was $350. So I think overall I only paid around $240 with the actual plan. So I don't think I paid any taxes on that either. It was just straight out $240. Maybe some change here and there, but again, a foldable device. If you guys are interested in a foldable device, this is more of a mid-range. It does have a Snapdragon Series 7 processor. So just for people that want to know what that is, right? 8 gigs of RAM. So this phone is actually, again, more of a mid-range. The only thing that I can tell you about this device that that I've had for a while, and I'm kind of upset that they didn't have the purple version. The green version is also sold out online also, which is crazy. I'm glad I was able to snag the green one when I could. But the only kind of upsetting thing about this for me was that the battery, so far the battery life has really not been great. But of course, I'm not using this as a daily as I would be. But I can tell you right now, you will lose battery life like quickly. Like it's going to be one of those phones where you are gonna, the phone is, if you're using it consistently, like you are gonna need to charge it at least once or twice a day. Let's take a look here. So we got the Nord 30 5G, which I don't know why the camera bumps on these look horrendous in my opinion. This is a phone I might consider getting, right? I'm not really too familiar with the OnePlus phones anymore, right? But The Nord 35G, again, you know, it's a device that you can get for $19.90 with, or $19 with a new line. The price of the device is $279, but let's take a look at the specs really quick. So it's running Android 13.1 or Oxygen OS, which, you know, it's basically just like their skin over Android, which I don't know. I guess you would like compare it to like Samsung's One UI or whatever. But anyways, let's take a look at the specs here. So there's even a little video there. So 5,000 milliamp battery, which, you know, is pretty much on. Not too bad though. A Snapdragon 695. It's an older chipset, you know, but it's really not too bad. 8 gigs of RAM, so I think that will maybe make the phone a little bearable when it comes to the usability. Just because, you know, a lot of times these older Snapdragon, especially the 600, the series, you know, to me, I think I remember having a phone with like a Snapdragon like 675 or 685, and it just really wasn't that good. Let me take a look here. It says 50-watt SuperVOOC Endurance Edition. So a 50-watt charging, external memory up to 1 terabyte, stereo speakers with 200% ultra volume modes. So I don't know what the catch is there. This phone looks very interesting though. I want to play this video, but I kind of don't at the same time. I might get this phone just to see what it's like, you know, maybe in a week or two, you know, once I get done fiddling. If this device is still for $19.99, you guys leave a comment in there if this is something you want to see as far as like unboxings go. But, you know, for the most part, you know, in my experience, OnePlus devices do not really get a lot of views. Although I feel like they are also underrated at the same time. I feel like they're like, I don't know how to explain it, but they're a company that I feel like they should be higher as far as like the sales go, but they're not. Like, no one really just pays attention or cares about those devices to begin with. So let's check this out. We can do also the and we're gonna kind of just stick to Androids here. The stylus, the TCL Stylus 5G, which I believe this phone came out last year. Another stylus phone, which is again part of their, I would say it's more a part of their 40 series lineup, right? But with a new line, with a new number, you can get this phone for $79.99. Retail is $269, or again, if you want, you can bring your number, $19.99 if you pour it in. I just probably wouldn't get this. You know, again, and if you're a fan of the brand, then okay. But like the NX Vision visual enhancement, the screens do look pretty nice. With a 4,000 milliamp battery though, and 4 gigs of RAM, with a MediaTek processor, I think that this one might be skippable, just because again, we're going back to MediaTek over here, and I'm just really not impressed there as far as the processing power. Again, I can tell you right now. Hey, what's up, Andy Logan? How's it going? We are just here chit-chatting on some of the deals from Metro by T-Mobile. Here's a phone or device that, you know, again, I don't know why they don't have it with the other Motorola devices, but I guess for good reason, because it kind of gets a low rating. I guess they're basing this off their ratings maybe, but the Motorola G5G, so just the regular Moto G, you know, this one looks very similar to the Moto Stylus 5G. I wish I could make the pictures bigger on the Metro by T-Mobile. This one does come with 64 gigs of internal memory, right? Brand new. This phone only cost $209. So I remember when the Moto G phones were actually like, you know, praiseworthy. Like these were phones that like guys like Marquez talk about, and now like people just kind of sweep them under the rug, like if nobody cares about them. But yeah, this phone, I remember like, you know, 5 years ago, people cared about the Moto G, and now no one talks about it anymore. So zero down with the new line, of course. Bring your own number, zero down as well. So this is another one of those free devices that you can get, which is crazy though that this phone only has 64 gigs of internal memory. It does have 120 hertz display though, so that actually is kind of enticing, especially if you want to get into like gaming. It does have a 5,000 milliamp battery, so I don't know what my UX is. I don't know if that's just their you know, I mean, it's going to be running Android, obviously, right? For the most part, probably Android 13 out of the box. It's got a Snapdragon 480 processor, so I don't know. It says it's got an octa-core processor, but 4 gigs of RAM with a Snapdragon 400 processor. I don't know. It's something that to kind of like look at. To me though, the Moto G Stylus 5G, which is pretty much the same device as far as the screen size goes, and the same display, but it has better specs. Again, it's got the Snapdragon Gen 6 1 processor. It's got the 6 gigs of RAM, while this phone only has 4 gigs. It definitely is a more appealing phone. Like, I feel like the Moto G Stylus 5G is just a better device overall, right? So let's continue to scroll down really quick. So yeah, phones that I really haven't been paying attention to are like the Revvl or the T-Mobile Revvl 6X Pro, for instance. Look at this. So these are devices that I believe are made by TCL, actually. Look at that quad camera setup over here. This one is a 256 gigabyte variant, by the way. So I remember having the original Revvl 5G, and from T-Mobile. This was a couple years ago when I was able to add a line, and the phone actually, before I sold it, like it was early last year or like fall of 2022, was still holding up pretty well, considering, right? These phones are actually, I think they're made by TCL, right? $29.99 with a new line, which is pretty crazy, especially because you're getting a 256 gigabyte variant on this device, right? Pretty crazy. You get that 50 megapixel camera setup, right? So I think this one has a quad camera setup, 5,000 milliamp battery, right? 16 megapixel front facing camera. You have a very interesting aspect ratio. So it's not like a 16:9, it's a 20:5:9 display. Or it says 1640 by 720. So 720 display. Again, this is basically a mid-ranger, right? But at the same time, look, this is what kind of kills it for me. MediaTek Dimensity 700. But it has like a lot of bells and whistles that you wouldn't get with other budget devices. So it offers wireless charging. It's got the HD plus display, right? It says operating system Android, so it has 6 gigs of RAM. So this is one of those devices where it could potentially be good, but I remember the T-Mobile Revvl 5G I had was a much better device. Like, as far as like the specs go, like it had like a very decent Snapdragon chip in it. I think it was like a 600 chipset, but anyways, so there's different versions of this device. So there's the Revvl 6X Pro, and then there's the Revvl 6X or 6 5G, and then you have the Revvl Pro 5G, and then you have the Revvl 6X. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what's going on. They have like the same phone listed. So I don't know what the difference between the 6X and the 6 Pro. Let's go to the 6 Pro here. I just want to see if there is any difference. So this one does only come with 128 gigabytes of internal memory. Andy Logan says, I'm typing on a Moto G 2020. Yeah, probably the Moto G 2020 edition is probably better than the current generation, which was last year's. I haven't seen any new Moto E's, by the way. So if anyone has seen any Motorola E phones out there, let me know. I think they stopped the production of those. So this, again, the Motorola Revvl 6 Pro 5G, I guess, has same processing chip as the Dimensity 700 as the 6X Pro. I don't know what the difference is between the 6X Pro and then just the regular Revvl 6 minus the quad camera setup, right? Again, MediaTek Dimensity 700, 4 gigs of internal memory. I think the 6X Pro is just going to have a little bit of better specs, but it's not to the point where the phone's going to be worth not even $300. It says original price $169, the Revvl 6X Pro $229. Again, and then you have the Revvl 6X Pro here. Let's click this. I really want to know what the difference is. Again, the Media Dimensity probably. Yeah, Dimensity 700 processor. So really 4 gigs of RAM. Aside from the RAM, I've not seen much of a difference here. Andy Logan. Wow, Moto G 2020. That's pretty crazy. Let's see the Nokia. They still have the Moto G Play. Let's take a look at that. The Moto G Play, which is only 32 gigs of internal memory, triple camera setup. This is the 2023 version, by the way. $0 with the new line. So again, R0 port your number. 32 gigs of internal memory. You're looking at like very little specs here. So 90 hertz display, which is actually, wow, 90 hertz display. Android 12, so you're actually getting an Android system that's a couple of years old, so you might be already risking not having security patches on this. A MediaTek Helio G37. So I'm kind of just dumbfounded that the Motorola is kind of just going the cheaper route and going with the MediaTek processing chips, which is crazy because back then they were solid mid-range devices that were like under, you know, good amount of price, but you still got bang for your buck. They still gave you decent like processing chips. So I'm just generally shocked, I guess, about that. But let's continue to scroll down really quick. You have the Samsung A13 over here, which I doubt anyone's getting an A13. Even though I said I wasn't going to talk about iPhones, I guess I'm going to talk about iPhones over here. So the iPhone SE 3rd Gen, 64 gigs of internal memory, which I probably wouldn't get just because that is too little memory to have on a device in 2023, unless you're literally only going to just use it for like a few apps, checking your email every now and then. It's not something I would get, but anyways, then you have your cheaper Samsung phones like the Samsung A03, iPhone 13 mini, which I honestly thought they stopped making. Okay, well, yeah, we're already on the iPhone 15. They stopped making the mini phones after the iPhone 13. So, iPhone 15 Plus 929. I'm actually hearing that the battery life on the 15 Plus is extremely good, by the way. So if instead of getting a Pro phone, I might just go with like the iPhone 15 Plus if I decide to upgrade later on this year. But again, I'm just not a fan of the screen size. Like it's not, especially with yeah, I don't think I can do 128 gigabytes of storage also. But you're getting $100 off. If you bring your number, you're gonna get $300 off, which is actually pretty crazy, or at least $200 off. Go into a store, report your number, yada yada yada. You know. So again, this is only one color. Also, they're only offering the black version. Let's see. Andy Logan says last update was April 1st of 2020. Only updates I receive is Google Play Store. Yeah. So Andy says he's typing. Andy, I think at this point, I mean, if you're still okay with that phone, keep it, right? But if you're not getting any type of security patch updates, I would definitely consider upgrading to maybe the Moto Stylus 2023. Because again, you're getting that updated chipset, you're getting a newer version of Android. I mean, it comes with Android. I believe it comes with Android 13 out of the box. I need to double check actually. I know my Samsung device comes with Android 14 out of the box because the phone was released in December of last year. Let me go to the device is locked. Yeah, so this one again, Android 13. There is a good chance that this might get an update to Android 14 possibly later on this year, though. I'm not holding my breath on that though, but again, I do have a few devices running Android 14, and the Samsung A15 is actually one of them. So what the heck? Hold on. Okay, it says you retracted a message, so I didn't even get to see the message. Okay, that's okay. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's gonna be most of the stuff I share. Unless you guys are looking at getting a phone like the TCL 30XE, which definitely these devices. I think I have the 30. I have one of the 30 devices here. They sent it to me from Metro by T-Mobile. It looks exactly the same. I think it's the same device. This phone actually wasn't bad, the 30XE, even though this phone came out already a couple of years ago. I think it came out in 2022, if I'm not correct on it. But actually, this was a pretty okay device. It's like the screen was it's a very nice screen, 6.5 inch display, right? 5,000 milliamp battery, 90 hertz refresh rate with NX Vision and NXT Vision. So this phone actually was really not that bad. Impressively responsive octa-core processor, right? Which I'll go look at the chipset right now. So yeah, MediaTek Dimensity 700. I need to check if the one I have has a MediaTek Dimensity processor because I just really don't remember. Let me turn it on. Fingerprint is actually in the back of the phone rather than in the front. But I'm generally always impressed by these TCL phones. I'm surprised these phones don't get a lot more love. I'm pretty sure in other countries that these phones actually probably do get a lot of attention, but just in the US, for whatever reason, I just know that these aren't gonna. Okay, so you're saying the last update that you got was in April of 2022, probably my last Moto because the lack of updates. Okay, you have an S24 Plus coming Friday, so then you definitely are not going to have to worry, at least for a couple years, when it comes to updates, especially if it's an S24, because I'm pretty sure you're going to get at least 3 years of updates on a device like the S24. And for the most part, again, it's a flagship device, so you're not going to have any issues with that. This dumb cat. Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to my cat. So I'm trying to get this phone started over here. Like my desk is literally full of smartphones right now. It's been a minute since that's happened to me, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better year when it comes to smartphone and smartphone reviews, just because last year I really didn't do much with smartphone reviews. I did maybe one or two, but that was it. I didn't really touch a lot of new devices. I remember I did the Samsung A54 last year, and I did the Moto G Stylus 2022, and that was basically it. Maybe my iPhone 13 Pro, which my iPhone 13 Pro really didn't get a lot of love either. Let me take a look really quick. So yeah, I do want to know what processing chip this device has, just because. And again, I'm looking at the TCL 30XE. I believe this is the phone that I have on the screen here. I'm just trying to verify it, because this is one of the last devices that TCL sent me, which was during that 30 series. I guess series. This one it's more of a budget device, like I said, but again, it, according to them, snappy. It is a little bit snappy from what I'm just playing around with here. Let's turn on Geekbench really quick and get that going. So it says Android 12. It's got, it does have an octa-core processor, and it says the GPU is a something. Okay, what is my CPU? So it's still running Android 12, right? Platform, whatever. It says CPU ARM MT683. So I'm pretty sure that MT stands for MediaTek. MediaTek. It says 700 on this screen, but mine says that it's an MT6833 something, whatever. But it's not horrible. Some of these MediaTek processors have gotten better over time. And again, if you just look at the screen on these devices, they're actually relatively, better. Especially because it has somewhat of a skin on the device, right? So these, like, you would want to maybe compare it to like a Samsung device, but with their own skin, their screens still look pretty sharp and solid. Their devices are pretty okay. So I actually messaged one of the reps recently. So hopefully, I'm gonna turn this device off already. Hopefully, I'm getting some sort of contact with them again, so I can start communicating with them again. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. Did I just get a super chat? Did you just super chat me, Andy? If you did, shout out to you, boss. I really appreciate that. Never expected, but I always appreciate it, by the way. And if you prefer not to send a donation through YouTube, I have the QR link there on top. If you want to just donate directly to my Cash App, I do take direct donations there. And the reason why I say that is because YouTube actually does take a pretty big cut of super chats for that. But again, I really appreciate that. So Andy says, be encouraged and stay encouraged. So again, shout out to you for saying that. And yes, I am doing my best to stay encouraged, especially on the platform, just because my viewership definitely over the last couple of years has declined. It was to the point where, like, in 2020, 2021 were my best couple of years that I had as far as viewership goes. And then the last 2 years, it just steadily declined. I was getting maybe like, 2,000 to 3,000 views a day on my channel. And then it eventually just dropped to, I'm getting less than 1,000 a day now, guys, on my channel. So I'm getting between like 600 and 900 views a day on the channel, which I'm not complaining about, because that's still pretty good in my opinion, right? But when some other tech channels are getting like 10,000 plus views, or 100,000 views a day, right? Obviously, the algorithm is not on my side, so it can be discouraging. But I'm doing my best to, again, like you say, be encouraged and stay encouraged as far as that goes. So I guess before we get off here, let's check out Boost Mobile's website really quick. So I'm going to stop sharing. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing this this part of the screen, I guess, right? And we can check out, I can just use Boost Mobile. Let's get on Boost Mobile's website, right? Because I am interested in testing out the Solero 5G, which, you know, I would hope that eventually. I've never tried out the Solero phones. That's why I know Tito and guys like Magic Tech have tried them out. But personally, I haven't done it. So let's see. We've got prepaid, yada, yada, yada. You're saying, okay, Andy Logan saying, I wonder why the Pixel 6a was dropped from the website. I'm pretty positive it's just due to the supply and demand, right? Because maybe I feel like obviously the phone's already going to be a couple years old this summer. Um, you know, it could be because of production, right? You know, I feel like maybe certain companies only get a specific amount of devices for their lineup before they run out, and then they just have to remove them from the website. You can still get the Pixel 6a new, like in stores. Like if you go to Target or Best Buy, you can get it unlocked, right? But again, this is unlocked as far as carrier locked devices, right? You know, like Metro or T-Mobile or wherever you also want to go, Verizon. You know, again, the reason why they heavily discount those devices is because they want you to try out their service, and then they want you to, I guess, get the experience of, you know, trying out their service, but also, you know, again, keeping you at least there a couple months before, you deciding to go somewhere else. But, you know, I kind of dropped the ball on that also, because they did have the Pixel 6a for zero down for quite some time, and I don't know why I didn't take advantage of getting one myself, because I had the Pixel 6a as a Team Pixel member, and I loved the device. You know, I ended up passing it on to one of the other YouTubers that's here on the platform, Tito. Oh, it's Tito. Shout out to you, by the way. I passed the phone on to him, and I think he gave the phone to his dad. So shout out there. I think his dad really enjoys the phone, though. It was a very good phone for what it was. So I can't complain too hard. You know, I had it for a good, at least almost a year before I gave it up. So let's go to phones here, right? So, and just like Metro by T-Mobile, it looks like the Samsung A15 is actually going to be offered on Boost Mobile. Also, it's for $39.99 on Boost. That's probably with the new line. So let's go ahead and continue to plans really quick. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop the screen share just because I want to see. This is what I've been noticing about. Boost Mobile, is that they don't allow you to pick a cheaper plan than the $60 plan on some of their stuff. So let me go ahead and make sure that this is available in my area. So yes, check this out, guys. Right, let's check this out really quick. So once you put in your email and zip code, it does only allow you to choose this plan, right? And I don't know, there might be specific reasons why they do that, right? They might be doing that because, you know, these devices are, you know, they can't just give them away, right? So they have to get something out of it. So they're going to charge you for their most expensive plan if necessary. But like me personally, like I don't like that. I don't like that they're doing that. It says new customers online only. So get 1 month of unlimited talks half off. Save 50% now. So like, let's see. Let's do, you know, again, I would rather do the $40 plan than the $60 plan, right? But let's see. Buy now. Oh gosh. So again, I guess, you know, I don't know if this is just the SIM card or what, but anyways, okay, let's just go back here because I'm continue shopping or whatever. Go back. There we go. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna leave the page there just because I don't want to do any of that. Let's see. Detroit89 says, I have a Pixel 6a and I just got the Android 14 update. Okay. I would have assumed that they would have gotten the Android 14 update not too long after Android 14 was released. So if they barely just did the OTA update on that, then I find that interesting. So let's see. We got prepaid plans for every budget. Okay, so I picked the $40 plan. So now it says buy a new phone. So you can get the Celero 5G Plus discounted for $59.99 with the $40 plan, but it's the silver version, not the orange version. If I get the Celero phone, it's going to be the orange one, just because it pops and it just looks different, right? But these are really the only phone plans that they offer with this. Let's see if I can browse more phones. So I'm selecting the $40 plan, and again, this is what they offer. So it looks like the Samsung has released the A25 now, because I haven't seen the A25 on Metro by T-Mobile's website, but it is here on. This is a phone that I've been seeing rumors on, so I don't know if this is officially released yet or not. But the A25, again, another mid-ranger, which again, $39 with a $40 plan, or I'm sorry, $99 with a $40 plan. I think that's still a little pricey, right? I think that's going to be discounted very quickly. So it does have a 5nm octa-core processor. An Exynos 1280. So again, like I said, that these devices are the mid-range, especially the mid-range devices. Although the one I have, the A15, has a MediaTek processor, this one has an Exynos processor. So I feel like Samsung is finally starting to transition their chipset into the American phones. That's pretty crazy though. So let's see. Okay, I just want basic specs of the phone. So you get an AMOLED 6.5-inch display, 5,000 milliamp battery, 6 gigs of RAM. Let's see. Exynos 1280i octa-core processor, Android. Obviously, most likely it's going to be Android 14 out of the box. 6 gigs of RAM, which is definitely a lot better than the 4 gigs that you get with the A15. And then, of course, micro SD support, expandable memory, something that I don't think Samsung is ever going to get rid of, the expandable memory. But the fact is, you have 120 hertz refresh rate on a budget phone, a phone that's under $200. When getting a new line here with Boost Mobile, again, this is a $300 phone, and you're getting it $200 discount with the $40 plan. So I think that's pretty decent for what it is. Looks very identical to the Samsung A15, so I want to say it's probably the same body. It's just, again, upgraded specs. So you get more RAM, you get a better chipset with the Exynos chip. Interesting is all I'm going to say on that. Of course, you have the Celero 5G, the 5G Plus. You have Apple iPhone 12, Motorola Razr, which is the one I got. Pretty interesting, guys. But anyways, again, I would probably go with the A25 over the A15. Metro by T-Mobile wasn't offering it though, so who knows? I might have to go with Boost Mobile in a couple of weeks if I decide to get the phone, especially if I decide to get that device and test it out for you guys and do an unboxing. So Boost Mobile, $25 is a decent plan on AT&T. Okay, I mean, I wasn't aware. I've never really used AT&T as a service, but I know that in some markets, Boost Mobile uses AT&T's network, or it transitions from T-Mobile to AT&T, etc. So there's that. But anyways, guys, I am getting kind of sleepy. It is. I can't believe we have 8 people in the chat, guys. If you can, please smash the like button before you leave today. And if you can, check out my recently uploaded videos. I've already uploaded 2 videos this week, right? So please check those videos out and smash the like button on those. They're not getting a lot of love right now, so I would definitely love to see my my A15 unboxing hit a couple hundred views within the next couple of days, and just go from there. So again, guys, this is Mike from B-Tech Reviews signing off. Again, I hope you guys all have a great evening, and smash that like button and subscribe and share the content with your family and friends. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great night.